Hey guys, it's Kathy. I hope you're doing well. Sorry, I made a short and it's trash night, so I had to go gather up all the trash and get it out before the trash man comes in 4 hours. I had to do it because what if they come early? You know, I had to get it done. No one else is going to do it. So I I made a short yesterday on when Cato did a reenactment of what OJ said that night for real. And when I did that, it sort of moved where we left off, and that was gone. The second I did that, that was gone. So I think we're about here. So I know that we were in this video. So we're going to watch the last 2 minutes. We may have already seen these 2 minutes. We may not have, but this is where we're going to start. And that's where we're starting. Here we go, guys.
Did O.J. Simpson instruct you that if Nicole needed any help at all, that you were to do exactly what you were doing in the past with her?
He didn't instruct me that. If she called, I would do something.
Did he tell you that that was okay, that you could do that?
Sustain.
Did he in any way advise you or tell you not to do anything that O.J. had done, that Nicole had asked for in the past?
Sustain.
You're aware that from August to February of 93 to 94 that O.J. had lived in his apartment in New York working?
He had an apartment in New York, right? August, right. That he had an apartment there, yes, and football was going on.
And so his business and work took him out of the city.
Yes.
And out of the state.
Yes.
Was it your feeling that O.J. Simpson was content with his life in May of 1994?
Sustain.
Was he happy with his lifestyle in May of 1994?
Sustain.
Did he seem to have any problems with women in May of 1994?
Sustain.
You told us last week that you did not keep track of O.J.'s coming and goings.
I did not, correct.
So if I was to ask you that on June the 12th at 9:45, did you go into O.J. Simpson's residence to see where he was? What would your answer be?
If I went into the residence?
Yeah.
I didn't go in. I wouldn't ask him to go in there.
And that would never be anything you would do at a specific time to go check up on him and see where he was. Isn't that true?
That is true.
And so you don't know whether or not he was in the house, do you?
I don't.
For all you know, the last time you saw him, he was walking towards the house.
Right. He was in the direction.
And you never saw any evidence of him leaving the house.
No.
So the last time you saw him, it was your state of mind that he probably was in the house.
Yet. Sustain. Answer stricken.
At 9:50, did you go to check on O.J. Simpson's whereabouts in his house?
No.
At 9:55, did you go check?
No.
At 10 o'clock, did you check?
No.
At 10:15, did you check?
No.
Would you ever during that day check as to where O.J. Simpson was?
No.
Would you ever on any day during the 6 months you lived there check as to where O.J. Simpson was?
No.
And when you saw him the very next day when he came back after the murders of his ex-wife and Ronald Goldman, he sent
I'll get him a brush. I'll help him.
some relief that at least he knew that you had been with him that day. Did he not?
Objection.
Sustain.
Did he appear relieved when he was talking to you about being with him the day before?
Objection. Speculation.
Sustain.
Isn't it true that when O.J. Simpson said to you, "Thank God I was with you," that he seemed to be relieved?
Objection. State the testimony.
Sustain. Rephrase the question.
How did O.J. Simpson appear to you when he made statements to you the next day at Rockingham?
Signed it yet.
Oh, no, I heard a story about that.
Mhm.
That's not
He has fantastic freaking hair. I don't know what you guys are talking about. He has fantastic hair.
true.
You don't have any book proposals out.
Don't want to do book.
Plan to write a book in the future, Mr. Kalin?
As of today, no way.
But you may well do that in the future, might you?
In the future, maybe.
Mhm.
Right now, no.
Not right now. You're aware of the law that prevents you from doing that for 90 days?
I know there's a law. I don't know what if 90 days or whatever it is.
Well,
But I know there's a law about writing something.
How many lawyers do you have right now, Mr. Kalin?
2.
Before June 12th of 1994, how many lawyers did you have, Mr. Kalin?
0.
How are you paying them, these 2 lawyers, Mr. Kalin?
Sustained. Although he has counsel here and that objection was not raised by him, I'll allow it to stand at this point.
How are you paying your lawyers, Mr. Kalin?
With Michael Plotkin, it's a percentage of work.
A percentage of work?
If work comes, he'll get a percentage off that.
So he's representing you right now on the if come, as they say. If you make money, he gets a percentage of it. Is that right?
Yes.
Sounds like he's betting you're going to make quite a lot of money, doesn't it, Mr. Kalin?
It's argumentative, sustained.
And what about your other lawyer?
Bill Tunego,
Mm-hmm.
good faith, I guess.
I'm sorry?
Good faith.
Good faith?
He was, there was a few lawyers that were coming to represent me, and they kept coming over, and I got it from a friend and said, Bill's a friend, and I said, okay. So I took it out of my friend's word that he was a good guy.
And how do you plan to pay him?
I don't think I'm going to pay him.
You don't think you're ever going to pay him?
Oh, I think eventually, yes. I will owe him everything.
Out of the money you plan to make, you will pay him. Is that right?
Somehow, if I make it, I can't predict what'll happen.
And hey, how long has he been representing you?
The day of the grand jury,
Since June the 17th?
yes.
And has he been present on every occasion when you have been in my office for an interview?
I think he missed one. Then he had someone else show up.
He had other lawyers come, didn't he?
Yes,
So he's been present at every interview or sent on one occasion a lawyer in to be with you during your interviews with me. Is that correct?
yes,
You have never spoken to me alone without a lawyer representing you, have you, Mr. Kalin?
correct.
And on your interviews with Mr. Shapiro, he has been present during those interviews. Isn't that correct?
Yes,
And in fact, on some occasions, he has met with Mr. Shapiro without you. Isn't that correct?
I wasn't in the room. I was in the building, but not in the room together.
He is engaged in numerous telephone calls on your behalf, has he not, Mr. Kalin?
William Janego?
Yes.
I believe so.
In other words, would it be fair to say that he spent upwards of 100 to 200 hours working with you on your situation?
Or you can answer the question.
I don't know how many hours. I don't think it's been that many hours.
Since June the 17th?
But we didn't meet all the time. It would be, he'd call to see if we're going to have an appointment and meet the day before, and then go see whoever we were going to see.
Well, you've met with him quite a few more times than you've met with either myself or Mr. Shapiro, haven't you?
Yes.
Are you aware of what his hourly rate is?
No. Bill Janego's? No. No idea.
And you haven't paid him one dime yet, have you, Mr. Kalin?
No, I haven't.
And you haven't paid Mr. Plotkin one dime yet, have you?
Yes.
What have you paid Mr. Plotkin?
Whatever the percentages are.
Right,
Oh.
but you have not paid him any money as of this date.
Yes, he's received money.
And how much is that?
I don't know. It goes from an agent to him,
And what is the percentage?
5%.
How much have you made so far since June the 12th?
About $60,000.
So far, Mr. Plotkin has received 5% of that.
I believe so.
And he will stand to receive 5% of whatever else you plan to do, whether it's a book or a movie. Is that right?
Yes,
All of which may happen after you complete your testimony in this case. Isn't that correct?
it could happen. Yes.
Between May of 93 and May of 94, how often did you see Paula Barbieri at the Rockingham house?
Not very often.
But she was there.
She came by. Yes.
She spent the night.
Yes.
And on how many occasions do you remember seeing her spend the night?
Well, I would never see her spend the night because I couldn't see from where I stay. But if she was there, I'd say I probably know it of about 3 times in the house
And that's just the times that you know about. Is that correct?
that I would assume that she was there that night.
There might be times she was there that you don't know about. Is that correct?
Correct.
And as a matter of fact, on June the 11th, the defendant went out with Paula to an event, didn't he?
Yes.
And as a matter of fact, during the early months of January of 1994, he was dating Paula Barbieri, wasn't he?
I believe so.
And during the at the end of the year of 1993, he was dating Paula Barbieri, wasn't he?
93, I think. I think so.
And are you aware of any? Have you heard the name Tawny Katane?
Yes.
Wasn't that another woman that Mr. Simpson was dating in the 90s?
I think they dated. I don't know. I wasn't around, but I think they dated. I'm pretty sure.
And that was between the dates of 85 and 94, wasn't it?
Of 85, 94, yes.
And are you aware of when Mr. Simpson married Nicole Brown?
Overruled.
I don't know the date.
Would it refresh your memory if I gave you a date?
In the 80s, I think.
Around 85?
I think so.
Sounds right?
Yes.
Now, you indicated to Mr. Shapiro that between May of 93 and May of 94, Nicole and Mr. Simpson were attempting to reconcile
At some point,
back and forth during that whole year. Isn't that correct?
it was like a commitment they were going to have a certain amount of time while OJ was in town. I don't know the dates, but I think it had to do with football season, leaving for that, to see if they were going to make it. I think it was to last until August or something like that, whenever football season would start in New York.
So there was what was it, a promise that Nicole made to act like his wife until August of 94?
The form of the question? Overruled. Overruled. Overruled.
That they were going to try to make it work as a couple.
No, that wasn't my question.
Say it
That's not
again.
what their question. Her question was that is Nicole going to act like his wife? What? Objection. Come on, Your Honor. You can't. That's not a question. Is she going to act like his wife? What does that even mean?
Was there an agreement that Nicole behave as though she were still Mr. Simpson's wife until August of 94 when football season would start?
I'm going to object to the term for the questions being made, behave as if there's that activity.
Overruled. Do you understand the question, sir?
That they were together. There was going to be a commitment to be together. Yes,
No.
as a.
Let me ask it again.
Okay, ask me.
Let me ask.
Wait.
Let me ask the question.
Wait. When I say wait, everybody stops talking, except for me. Understood? All right. Obviously, the question needs to be rephrased.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Proceed.
Was there an agreement that Nicole made with Mr. Simpson not to see another man until August of 94 when he would leave for the football season?
I think that there was something like that to make it work. So I think they had an agreement. It was like no dating. They were going to stay together.
Do you
But I
know
don't-
what? I'm sorry?
Yeah, like that. But I don't know the dates. And I think it was that time for football season before.
Do you know whether it was for the purpose of Mr. Simpson's image or the purpose of their relationship?
Sustained.
But during that time period, during the period of 1994, he was dating Paula Barbieri.
Yeah, I think they dated. Yes,
In January, wasn't he dating Paula Barbieri?
I think so.
Don't you
Yes.
recall a trip with her to Hawaii between 93 and 94?
I don't know if they went. They went. I didn't know if they go on trips, but they probably did. I don't know.
As a matter of fact, do you recall that there was a trip that he took to Palm Springs with Paula Barbieri in June of 1994?
There's a trip. I think it was Memorial Day.
Memorial Day?
Yes, I think it was to Palm Springs then.
And that was the defendant and Paula Barbieri took that trip together to Palm Springs, didn't they?
I believe so.
All right. Now, you stated on cross-examination that you really liked both Nicole and the defendant. You recall stating that?
Yes.
But Nicole did not give you a place to stay for free, did she?
No.
And you told Mr. Shapiro that even though the defendant let you stay in the guest unit for free, you felt no obligation to him. Do you recall saying that?
That although I stayed there free, I felt no obligation to him.
Yes. You recall saying that?
I guess yes.
Now, on Mr. Simpson's estate, you had a room with its own bathroom. Is that correct?
Yes, I did.
It had its own office.
Yes.
You had access to a jacuzzi.
I'm sorry, Mr. Shapiro. Objection.
Objection.
I assume this is foundational for something else. Overruled.
Yes.
You had access to a jacuzzi.
Yes.
You had access to a swimming pool.
Yes.
You had access to the kitchen area in the pool house.
Yes.
Now, what would you have paid to live in a place like that, Mr. Kalin?
I probably wouldn't have lived there if it was a price on it.
If you could have afforded to pay for it, sir, what do you think you would have paid for something like that? $1,000, $1,500 a month?
Oh, in that area? Yes.
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 And you stayed there for 6 months?
Yes.
So you saved at least $6,000 staying there rent-free. Isn't that right?
Yes.
So the defendant saved you at least $6,000 by letting you stay there without paying any rent. Isn't that correct?
Yes.
And he got you an acting part too, didn't he?
No.
Didn't you tell us about the Kushner lock?
No, I had the audition through an agent.
And he
And-
made a phone call to help you, didn't he?
I had mentioned to him that I knew someone, and I didn't know at the time, and he said he was on the board there, and he said, I'll make a call.
So
But
he
I-
helped you,
No, I had the reading, and I didn't get the part.
but he tried to help you.
Oh,
He said he'd
took-
make the call, didn't
oh,
he?
Yes, he did.
All right. Saved you $6,000 in rent.
Yes.
You stayed on that beautiful estate. Yes.
Yes.
You had access to a famous celebrity. Yes.
Yes.
When you went out to see your friends, you could tell them that you were living on Mr. Simpson's estate, couldn't you?
I could, but I didn't do that.
You didn't do that, Mr. Kalin. You
I
never told
rarely-
anyone you lived on Mr. Simpson's estate.
Well, some people knew, close friends, but it wasn't.
And with all of that, you don't feel obligated to him. Is that right? You don't feel obligated to him? Is that your testimony?
Can you explain obligated? What,
Did you need
which-
Mr. Shapiro to explain it to you, sir?
Do you mean for?
Sustained. That's argumentative.
You're telling me that you do not feel obligated to Mr. Simpson with all that we have just mentioned? Is that what you're
Oh.
saying?
It's somewhat, yes. That I.
On June the 12th, you stated that you were in the house and you spoke to Mr. Simpson at about 3 p.m. Is that right?
Yes.
And how did you happen to go into the house at that time?
I think at that
Thank
time I
you,
walked by and he said
Kiki.
my name or something like that.
He invited you in.
Yes.
You would not go in without being invited. Is that correct?
Yes.
So you were invited in by Mr. Simpson at 3 o'clock in the afternoon on June the 12th. Is that right?
Yes.
You were invited in again by him at about 6 or 6:30 after the recital. Isn't that right?
Yes.
And then again at 9 p.m. when he wanted to go out to dinner. You were with him again and walked through the house. Is that correct?
Yes.
and then again at 11 p.m. when he was getting ready to leave for the limo.
It's not my new hair, it's the camera. The camera just started showing a bunch of yellow. I don't know. I have no idea. I don't care.
You were in the house with him again at that time, were you not?
Yes, I was.
Hi, Kiki.
So on June the 12th, you were in the house with Mr. Simpson at 3, at 6, at 9, and at 11 p.m. Is that right?
No, not at 9.
You walked through
Oh,
the
when
house.
I walked through, yes. Yes.
Isn't that right?
Yes.
And you were with him on all 4 occasions. Is that right?
Yes.
Other than June the 12th of 1994, did you ever spend that much time with Mr. Simpson or go into his house on that many occasions?
No.
Thank you. I have nothing further.
Mr. Shapiro.
Thank you very much. Mr. Kalin, regarding the amount of time you've spent with Mr. Simpson, have you been in the house for any prolonged period of time prior to June the 12th?
Yes.
And for what purpose?
Watched a football game. And,
How long did you watch a football game for?
3-4 hours.
What else have you done in the house?
Watched a movie. Had Christmas. Breakfast sometimes.
You would say that Mr. Simpson treated you in a very kind and nice way.
Yes.
Your Honor, objection, that's irrelevant and is asked and answered.
Oh, innocuous.
And on this occasion, as far as going to McDonald's, I believe you told us that you invited yourself to go with him.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
And regarding access to the living quarters of Mr. Simpson, that wasn't a place that you had free access to, was it?
Say it again.
The living quarters of Mr. Simpson, his kitchen, his dining room, his den, was that a place that you had free access to or not?
No, I wouldn't go in without being invited.
Regarding the jacuzzi, how many times were you in the jacuzzi?
Once.
So would you say you did not take advantage of the generosity of Mr. Simpson in allowing you to stay in the guest house temporarily?
I did not.
Regarding dates, are you precise as to dates of times Mr. Simpson spent with Paula Barbieri?
No, I think the Memorial Day was the one in Palm Springs, if I remember. I'm kind of sure on that one. The exact dates, no.
Would it be a fair statement to say that you never saw Mr. O.J. Simpson with Paula Barbieri prior to May of 1994?
I might have once, but I think I first met Paul, I knew about her, but first met her in April or May. But I think maybe May. I'm not positive.
Of 94.
Of 94.
And you knew that O.J. Simpson was getting back together with her, that they had dated sometime prior.
That he knew her from
Kelly, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
before they dated.
Yes.
Yes.
Regarding the issue of you getting to have the privilege of staying as Mr. Simpson's guest, it's been pointed out by the prosecutor that that may have had a value of $6,000. May have had a value greater than that, might it?
Yes.
Not. Regardless of the value.
No.
Would that be a-
No. I'm sorry, they're wrong about the value of $6,000. O.J. Simpson didn't save him $6,000 by letting him live there, because he would have never lived in a place like that. Back then, $1,500 a month would get you that. He would have stayed in a studio apartment or something that he can afford, more like $600 a month. So the few months that he stayed there, it was maybe $2,000, not $6,000, maybe $2,000.
enough to get you to lie in this case, sir?
I will not lie.
For any amount of money?
For any amount of money.
Thank you.
I believe
Nothing
him.
further.
I believe him. I just believe that he is speaking the truth right now. Yes, he's cute. Yes, he has great hair,
All
but
right,
that's
Mr.
not why.
Kalen, I'm going to excuse you at this time. However, you are subject to recall. I'm going to order you not to discuss your testimony with anybody except for the lawyers in the case and your own attorney.
Oh, no.
And you will be required to come back to court
No.
within 48 hours of being notified by the court. Do you understand the order, sir? If we may need you back, I don't know yet, but you're still subject to
Oh.
recall.
Okay.
All right, do you understand my order, sir?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you very much.
He
You're
doesn't
excused for today.
understand. Oh,
Thank you, counsel.
no. Well, guys,
All right, next witness.
it was fun watching the OJ trial. We're done. There's nothing else to see here. I'm just going to fast forward to the end. Damn. Fine. Goodbye, Cato. Thank you very much for your testimony. We very much enjoyed it. We did. Fine. All right. Let's move on with the rest of the trial, guys. There's other people that are witnesses. We have to watch them.
Rachel Ferrara.
Yes, Ms. Clark, Mr. Cochran.
Oh, a lot. Jude, a lot. Months. We still have months to go in this trial. We are on day 69. Hold on. Let's see. The OJ trial was 252 days long. We are on day 69, I think. And
All right, let's rescue those.
it's not one for one. We don't do one day every day. We do about an hour or two of the days. But not all days were 8 hours long either. So I don't know how much more. I can tell you we are on video. Oh, wait, we are on video 176 out of 498, if that helps.
All right, Deputy Russell, let's recycle our matters here. Thank you, sir. All right, Ms. Clark, are you prepared to call your next witness?
Yes, I am, Your Honor. Thank you. People call Ms. Rachel Ferrara.
Waiting for my clerk. There she is.
Raise your right hand, please. Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you may give in the cause now pending before this court should be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yeah.
Please be seated and spell your first and last name for the record.
Just sit back, pull the microphone close to you, please. Thank you. Ms. Clark. I'm sorry.
State your first and last name.
Rachel, Rachel, Ferrara, Ferrara.
Ms. Clark.
Okay, Ms. Ferrara, are you a friend of someone by the name of Brian Kalen, also known as Cato Kalen?
Yes.
And how long have you known him?
I've known him since March of 94
And during the time that you knew him in 1994, where was he living?
in OJ's guest house.
And where was that house? What was the address of that house?
360 North Rockingham.
In Brentwood?
Yes.
And had you ever visited him at that guest house?
Yes.
So you know what it looks like.
Yes.
On June the 12th of 1994, did you receive a call from Cato Kalen?
Yes.
At approximately what time?
Approximately 10:20
And where were
Yeah.
you when you got this call?
at home.
I'm sorry?
At home?
Without giving us your address, where that was at the time, tell us the general area you were living in on June the 12th of 1994.
It's West LA, Palms.
About how many miles from Rockingham and Brentwood would that be?
10 miles. It's a guess. I really don't know.
Okay, and at 10:20 p.m., what were you doing when you got that phone call from Mr. Kalin?
I was watching TV. Not much.
Did you have a conversation with him?
Yes.
What did you talk about?
We talked about,
Sustained.
Did you discuss with him a typewriter?
yes.
All right. And after that discussion, did you have some further discussion about activities that you were involved in at that time period?
A little bit, yes.
Were you studying acting at that time?
Yes.
Were you and Cato involved in some project together or a job together at that time?
Yes.
And what was that?
A movie we were both working on.
Were you acting in that movie?
No.
What were you doing?
I was a production assistant.
And what was Cato Kalin doing?
Oh, he was doing a little bit of everything. He was doing some extras casting, and he was an assistant to one of the producers, and he was he had a part, but well, they cut it out, but he had a part.
He had a part, but
Yes.
they cut it out?
Mhm.
So other than that, what kind of duties was he performing? Gopher? Or?
A little bit, yes. He was an assistant to a producer, so I guess they make you do probably about anything they can. So
About anything which would be?
running errands, maybe taking people to lunch, just handling their affairs, basically. Depends.
Now, did Cato talk to you about what he had done earlier that evening?
Somewhat, yes.
Did he talk to you about going to McDonald's with Mr. Simpson?
Yes.
During the course of your conversation, did you happen to ask Cato Kalin what time it was?
Yes.
And how do you happen to recall that?
Because we were going to go out and do something, and I asked him, I was trying to figure out if it was too late, and he said, so I asked him what time it was, and he said 10:30.
Now, you were supposed to go out with him that night, were you?
Yes. Well, I don't know, out, but
Get together.
yes.
And so after he told you it was 10:30, at some point after that, did something unusual occur during the course of your conversation with him?
Yes.
What was that?
Well, he described it as an earthquake. He said there was a bang on his wall.
And about how long after you'd asked the time and he told you it was 10:30, did he describe an earthquake occurring?
After 10:30?
Right. You asked him what time it was. He said 10:30, correct?
Right.
At some point after that, he described an earthquake occurring.
Mhm.
How long after that time when he said it was 10:30 did he describe hearing an earthquake?
Approximately 10 minutes.
And how did he describe that earthquake sound?
He said it was a bang.
And when he told you about that, how did he sound?
He sounded confused and startled and concerned.
Did he sound scared?
Sustained.
Did he indicate to you in any way that he was, how did he indicate to you that he was concerned?
Well, because we tried to figure out.
Okay, this is a first for us. We're not used to. We are definitely, absolutely not used to a witness who stops talking when they hear the word objection and waits. She just stopped and waited. And when it was sustained, she just sat there with her mouth closed until Marcia asked another question. That's crazy. Who does that?
What it was, and he said, was that an earthquake? And I had the TV on, so I said no, because, well, for one thing, I didn't feel anything, and also because they usually report it right away, some sort of indication. And just because he kept referring back to it in the conversation.
After
And it
you
also knocked his picture.
said it moved the picture on the
Right.
wall. Did after you said no, it was not an earthquake,
Yes.
did he indicate some concern to you?
Yes.
And what concern was that?
We thought maybe somebody was outside.
All right, but you continued to talk to him for a little while after that, did you?
Yes.
About how long?
Approximately 10 minutes or so.
During that 10 minutes that you continued to talk to him, did the subject of that bang come up again?
Yes.
How many times?
Oh, I don't know how many times. I just know that it came up again.
Okay. And what did he tell you with respect to what he was going to do about it?
Sustained.
Did he tell you, did he indicate to you that what, if anything, he was going to do about that bang?
Well, at the end,
You can answer yes or no. Did he tell you what he was going to do?
yes.
All right, next question. Thank you.
And what did he tell you he was going to do?
Sustained.
1236, Your Honor.
Subsequent conduct?
Subsequent conduct, 1241, 1240, contemporaneous, and 1236, prior consistent.
All right, with the court order.
Fucked. All right. 1246, Your Honor.
All right, you indicated that you continued to speak for 10 minutes after the bangs occurred on the wall. And then,
Overruled.
I'm sorry, bang on the wall. Okay, after the bang on the wall. And at some point, did Mr. Kalin indicate to you he wanted to terminate the conversation?
Yes.
And were you expecting at the time that he terminated the conversation to hear back from him again?
Yes.
Did he tell you to expect to hear back from him again?
Sustained.
After you hung up from him, did you leave your apartment?
No,
Why didn't you leave your apartment?
because I didn't plan on leaving.
Okay. Were you waiting for him to call back?
Yes.
And if you did not, what were you going to do if you did not hear back from him?
Well, he said before he hung up.
Sustained.
I'd like to approach Your Honor.
Well, that's non-responsive to that question.
Okay.
The question was, what were you going to do if you did not hear back from him?
Okay.
That's why I sustained the objection, because
Okay.
the answer was non-responsive.
Okay. Thank you. Did he give you some instruction just before hanging up with you after hearing the bang?
Yes.
And what was that instruction?
Sustained.
Not for the truth of the matter, Your Honor.
Subsequent conduct?
And subsequent conduct.
All
But
right,
it's-
proceed. Overruled.
Go ahead.
Could you repeat the question?
Yes. Just before he hung up with you, did he give you some instruction?
Yes.
And what was that?
He said if he doesn't call back in 10 minutes to call the police.
Could you tell whether he was joking or serious?
Why don't you rephrase the question?
What was his tone of voice when he told you that?
It was, I don't remember.
I'm sorry?
I don't remember his tone of voice. It wasn't urgent.
Were you concerned?
Not at the moment, not as much.
Did he indicate at any point that he wanted to go out and find out what caused the noise?
Yes.
And about what time was it that you hung up?
Approximately 10:50.
Did you ever hear back from Mr. Kalin that night after you hung up at 10:50?
Yes.
And what time was it approximately when you heard back from him?
I'd say approximately 11:05. 5 after 11.
So, I'm sorry?
5 after 11.
Okay. And did you have a conversation with him about what occurred after he hung up with you at 10:50?
Yes.
Did he describe any encounter he'd had with Mr. Simpson?
Sustained.
All right, during your conversation with Mr. Kalin, when you resumed your conversation after 11 or 11:05, did something interrupt your telephone call with him?
Yes.
And approximately how long had you been speaking, if you remember, at the point that that phone call was interrupted?
Approximately 10 minutes.
Are you familiar with the feature on telephones called call waiting?
Yes.
So are you familiar with what occurs when someone calls while you're on the line if you have call waiting?
Yes.
And what is that?
It clicks or beeps or, well, actually clicks.
And during your conversation with Mr. Kalin after 11 p.m., after you'd been speaking to him for a while, did something interrupt your call?
Yes.
And what was that
Call waiting on his line.
on his line? And did he click off onto the other line?
Yes.
And did he come back to you after that?
Yes.
I'd like to ask a question that I know that Mr. Cochran will object to. If I could approach the bench.
Sure.
Over.
Yes.
After you click back over.
Yes.
Uh,
I think it just happened. I think he saw Ron there and flew into a rage.
Not very long. He
Or will. Go
You
ahead.
can complete your answer.
just a couple of minutes, and then he went outside.
And then did he call you back again after he came back inside?
Yes.
About how long was it that you spoke after he called you back the third time?
The third time.
Right.
It was for a long time, an hour and a half.
About what time did you hang up with him?
I don't know what time. I'd have to calculate it and figure it out. I guess. Let's see. 12:31.
I have nothing further.
Mr. Cochran.
My name is Ferrara.
Hello.
I'd like to ask you just a few questions. When you came into court today, you came in with a gentleman who's seated back there. Is that your lawyer?
Yes.
So you have a lawyer also, do you?
He's not a criminal.
But he's a lawyer who came here with you?
Yes.
He's still a lawyer, right?
Yes.
Okay. And prior to your testimony, you've had occasion to speak with Ms. Clark, have you not?
Yes.
Ms. Marsha Clark? On how many occasions would you say you've spoken to Ms. Clark prior to your testimony here today?
I've spoken to her 2 times.
And on each occasion, were you by yourself when you talked to her?
The first time I was, yes,
And the second time, who was with you?
my attorney.
So here's what they said at the preliminary hearing. That night, Nicole went out to a restaurant with like 9 other people. And it's the restaurant that Ron works at. He's a server there. Okay. Her mother is also there. And her mother left her glasses at this restaurant. All right. Yeah, Mezzaluna. So Nicole is there with like 9 other people, eating dinner, enjoying herself. And in comes OJ. And he's mad. And he goes to the table directly next to Nicole, grabs a chair, flips it around, sits there, and just stares at her for the rest of her dinner. That didn't speak to her or anyone else. He just sat there and stared at her for the rest of her dinner. So they finish their dinner. The group of 10 pay and leave. And Nicole's mother had forgotten her glasses. And Ron, who was a friend of Nicole, knew where she lived. So the manager put the glasses in an envelope. And Ron took them over to Nicole's house. So maybe the part with Nicole was not spur of the moment, because you're right. He was mad. He had a knife. He had a knife with him. He didn't just get in an argument and pull a knife out of thin air. Plus, he lived in LA. And he had those thick leather gloves on, which is just weird. I didn't even know people in LA owned leather gloves. Why would they? See, I'm from Pennsylvania and we have gloves on. It's because it's snowing. So, and he also had a ski cap or a beanie or a black beanie, which is, I guess that is normal for LA. But for me, that's kind of weird because it's hot in LA. It's very hot. Wow, I would never put something on my head when it's so hot out. My gosh, I'd die. He travels around in his Ford Bronco to go to cold places? Nah, he flies there. He flies to Chicago. He doesn't drive his Bronco. So he had a knife. I don't think there's no way that Ron was a target of OJ. Ron was, I think, just dropping off glasses. I think he went there on purpose because he was at Nicole's house. All right. He's pissed off and he went to Nicole's house and he had a knife and he was wearing gloves. Right. Because he didn't get into a fight with Nicole and then in the middle of the fight put on gloves and a beanie. Like, yeah. Yeah. I believe Ron was collateral. Definitely. Yes, he did, Debbie, but he didn't drive his Bronco there. He didn't drive his Bronco to New York where he played football or anything like that. He flew. So that doesn't explain why he was wearing gloves that night. Or why they were even in the Bronco. The Bronco never went to cold places. He just didn't drive to Michigan. He didn't drive to New York from LA. That's a long ass drive. So, So I think, I think he went there to hurt her because he had the knife. The knife is what makes me think that he had intent before, probably at the restaurant. He was like, this is it. I'm done with her. She's done. And then Ron just happened to Wrong place, wrong time. Yeah. He had the gloves on. He was wearing the gloves. And he was holding the knife. So he went to her house with gloves on and holding a knife. So yeah, I don't think you're right. It wasn't just like, oh my God, I'm so mad at her, I'm gonna stab her now. He had the intent. It's just, I wonder who got it first. I mean, I don't know. Nicole would run. Ron would probably try to stay to save Nicole. Nicole would probably run because she's terrified of him. She knows him. So he probably, we'll see. I don't know, because what I think is the mom left the glasses at the Mezzaluna, but the manager held them to the end of the shift until Ron was done working. And then Ron took the glasses to Nicole's house. They didn't just find the glasses on the table as they were bussing it, and then he ran to her house. He waited until the end of his shift, and he's like, you know what? I'm going that way anyway. I'll just drop them off on the way home. So, yeah. So, yeah, I think that means OJ waited. You're right. It wasn't cold even no matter where. So I think he went with the intent of stabbing her. Ron, it's just weird that he waited so long though. Maybe, I don't know what time they left the restaurant, the party. No matter, so Ron closed that night. I close restaurants, and it's not like when the last table leaves, you leave. That's not how it works. When your last table is done, you have to clean. You have to clean your table, you have to clean your section, you have to mop, you have to sweep, you have to stock. You know, there's a lot of things that you have to count your drawer, you have to, settle somehow your tips. You have a lot to do at the end of a night after the last person finally walks out the door. So he didn't just, even if they were his very, very last table, he's still there for minimum 30 minutes, minimum. There's no way that he's out of there before 30 minutes after the last table leaves. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how it works in LA. I don't know if the servers, so like the servers get paid off tips, and you can only make the servers do 20% of the shift of work that does not 100% go towards their tips, which includes rolling silver, because you have to give the silverware to the customers to eat. But it does not include mopping a floor, cleaning the bathrooms, emptying the trash, emptying the ice bin, cleaning the beer taps. So it depends how much work they have to do in LA. I don't know. Oh, that's right. Okay. Okay, that's right. Okay, so that now this all makes more sense, Carlos. Thank you. All right. So he left the restaurant pissed off. She went home, he left. He went home and got burgers with Cato. He had to get to McDonald's then. But I mean, in Cato's testimony, OJ wasn't angry during the McDonald's run. But it was weird about the money. Cato gave him $20, but then when they got there, OJ paid with something different and didn't take his change or something. So I can't remember Cato's exact testimony, but he did mention how something at McDonald's was weird. I can't 100% remember verbatim what it was. Like, Cato gave him $20 because all OJ had were hundreds or 50s or larger bills. And then when they got to the McDonald's, he paid in a different way other than the $20, but he kept the $20 and he didn't take the change from the drive-through. Yeah, Cato paid there too. So maybe he was already thinking about what he's doing and he forgot he took $20 from Cato. I don't know. But he didn't take his change, so that's weird. What's not weird is he ate in the car. What is weird is Cato waited until he got home to eat in his room. Those fries are delicious hot. Those fries are not that delicious cold. Yeah. He was distracted by what he was about to do. So he probably went to McDonald's as a alibi. I was with Cato. We were at McDonald's that night. It wasn't me. And then I got on a plane. Went to McDonald's, then I packed for my trip. I got on a plane. Wasn't me. Couldn't have been me. Yeah. All right. We just took a long trip. I got to leave soon, but don't worry. I'll let it play.
All right, same gentleman who's here.
Correct.
All right. And how long had you known Cato Kalin prior to June 12th, 1994?
Well, for just since March, so.
All right. So you've known him since March of 1994, is that correct?
Correct.
That you met him in connection with this movie production we were talking about?
Yes.
All right. And during that period of time between March 1994 and June of 1994, did a relationship of some kind develop between you and Mr. Kalin?
Yes.
And what was that relationship?
We were friends and we were dating.
Dating?
Yes.
And you came to know him pretty well as of June 12th of 1994?
Yes.
Did you find him to be a fairly honest and straightforward person in your dealings with him?
Definitely.
He would tell you the truth as far as you knew?
As far as I knew.
Now, you became aware as of March of 1984 that Mr. Kalin lived at Mr. O.J. Simpson's residence. Is that correct? In the guest house?
I'm sorry.
You became aware after you met him in March of 1994 that Mr. Kalin lived at Mr. O.J. Simpson's residence or in his guest house, right?
Yes.
And in fact, between the period of March 1994 and June 12th of 1994, you had occasion to go over to the Simpson residence. Is that correct?
Yes.
And you spent some time over there. Is that correct?
Not a lot, but yes.
How many? Did you spend some evenings there?
1 or 2 evenings.
On how many occasions would you say you went over there?
I went over there in the day time a few times. So I would say 5 or 6.
All right. During that time frame? All
Yes.
right. Sometime in the day, sometime in the evening. Is that correct?
Correct.
And did you ever see Mr. O.J. Simpson during any of these times that you went over there?
Never.
So the 5 or 6 times you went over there between March of 1994 and June 12th of 1994, you never saw Mr. O.J. Simpson, right?
Never.
On this particular evening that we're talking about, June 12th, 1994, you recall that you received a phone call from Mr. Kalin that evening. Is that correct?
Yes.
And to the best of your recollection, that phone call was somewhere approximately 10:30 p.m., the first phone call. Is that right?
Approximately 10:30.
That you were talking to him by 10:30 that evening.
We were talking during 10:30, but it was before 10:30.
Right. The first call was about what time? 10:20?
Yes.
All right. And at 10:30 you were still talking. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. And you had some plans of possibly getting together that evening. Is that correct?
Yes.
So it turned out you didn't get together that evening, did you?
No.
All right. And as I understand your testimony that evening, you had perhaps 3 conversations altogether. Is that correct? 3 telephone conversations?
Yes, I guess you
All
put it like that.
It was during the first conversation that while talking to Mr. Kalin, he described for you a bang on the wall of his residence or something of that nature. Is that correct?
Yes.
And you recall he used the term bang on the wall. Is that correct?
Yes.
At first, as I understand it, he thought it was an earthquake. And because you were watching television, you were aware at least there was no indication of an earthquake at that time. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right.
Well, that's not the only indication, but I didn't feel anything.
All right. So you didn't feel anything and you
Right.
didn't see any mention of it either. Is
Right.
that correct? And you were approximately 10 miles from where he was at that point. Is that correct?
That is an approximate. I'm not sure.
Well, you're in Palm somewhere. Is that
Yes.
correct? All right. Now, after he told you about this bang on the wall, there came a time when that conversation, that first conversation, terminated. Is that correct?
Yes.
And can you tell us about what time did the first conversation terminate?
Around 10:50.
All right. And at that point, you expected that Mr. Kalin would call back again. Is that correct?
Yes.
And so that we're clear, if you can help us with this, what time did he call back after the first conversation? What was the time of the second conversation?
Approximately 11:05.
All right. So perhaps 15 minutes later, he called back. Is that
Right.
correct? Do you know, or were you able to ascertain whether or not Mr. Kalin had seen Mr. Simpson between the two phone calls, between 10:50 and 11:05? Were you able to ascertain that?
Yes.
And that was based upon something that he told you?
Correct.
Did you discuss with Mr. Kalin that night that Mr. Simpson was going to Chicago on an airplane at all?
Discussed.
Yeah, did you guys talk about that?
Yeah, I'm actually leaving right now. She likes it. She's doing great. They love her. So that's a good. There's going to be some money coming in here soon. That's good for me. All right, I'm going to take her to work. I'll be back. Feel free to chat. Be back, guys.
It wasn't like a whole topic discussed, but it was mentioned.
All right, no, I'm not talking about a topic, but did you have occasion to mention that in the
Yes.
course of your conversation?
Yes.
All right. Was that in the first conversation or in the second?
That was in the second.
Second conversation?
Yes.
All right, after he came back, is that correct?
Correct.
And in the second conversation, how long did that conversation last?
Second conversation lasted. Oh God. Approximately 10 minutes.
Till about 11:15 or thereabouts?
Yes.
And then after that, there was a period of time, and then you had a third conversation. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so the second conversation ended at about 11:15.
Mm-hmm.
Can you help us with when the third conversation began, when he called you back?
When it began,
Yes, what time did it start?
probably. Well, he wasn't outside for very long, so I'd say 10 minutes later. So 11.
So
20.
your best recollection is that the third conversation would have started about 11:25 or thereabouts.
Yes.
Okay, and I understand these are just estimates. Is that correct? Your best estimates.
Best estimates.
All right.
Yes.
And this third conversation was the one you shared with us that may have lasted up to an hour and a half. Is that correct?
Yes.
In the second conversation, did Mr. Kalin say to you that he had seen a limousine outside in the
Yes.
dark room? Did you have occasion to see any of Mr. Kalin's testimony during the course of the last several days or so?
No. I heard some of the highlights.
I couldn't hear you.
I've heard some of the highlights. I
And
said.
where did you hear the highlights?
From friends.
Oh, people who told you they'd seen him. Do you believe that
Yes.
is that yes?
Yes.
All right. You believe that Cato Kalin is an honest and credible person? Well, I want a foundational, leading to something else. Thank you. Could you hear that question?
Do I believe
that
he's
an
honest and credible
honest
person?
and credible person?
Yes.
And why do you say that?
Because I know him.
And you still consider yourself a friend now?
He's
is that
very
right?
moral.
All right. And this is based upon the time you've known him since March of 1994. Is that correct?
Yes.
Now, you haven't sold your story to any publications, have you?
No.
Have you had any offers?
Yes.
And what kind of publications have made offers to you?
Current Affair, hard copy, and I haven't like pursued it. So I've been approached, but I haven't, Globe and
All right, some of the tabloid
right.
magazines also. And you've not been paid at all at this point, is that correct?
No.
You've not appeared on any of those shows yet?
No.
Well, thank you very kindly.
Sure.
Nothing further.
Ms. Clark? Fairly.
Ms. Ferraro, why do you have a lawyer?
Why do I have a lawyer?
Right.
For a civil suit,
Who are you suing?
Time Magazine. Well, it hasn't been filed.
But you're planning to.
Yes.
And why is that?
Because they said I lied.
And what did they say you lied about?
Why don't you chat with Ms. Clark first? Thank you, counsel. Proceed.
Do you remember the question?
No.
Okay. What did they say you lied about?
My preliminary testimony.
In what respect?
Well, basically they said I lied about, they said that I said that Cato told me that he went outside and saw no one.
Went outside and saw no one?
Right. During the course when he went outside.
That he did not, in other
The
words,
first time.
they were reporting, you had said that Cato told you when he went out to investigate the noises, there was no one outside.
Correct.
And you had never said that.
No.
And that's why you have a lawyer today?
That and moral support, basically.
Okay. Are you paying him?
No, it's on a contingency basis.
Your Honor, she is represented by counsel, and to the extent that questions call for privileged information, she does raise the privilege. My name is Paul Silverman, and I represent Ms. Ferrara.
All right, and counsel, if you'd drop your card off with the clerk before you leave this morning, I'd appreciate that.
And there'll be no further questions about the fee arrangement.
Thank you, counsel.
Okay, you indicated, Ms. Ferrara, that, well, let me ask you one further question. Have you told us the truth today, Ms. Ferrara?
I'm sorry?
Have you told us the truth today?
Yes.
And did you tell the truth at the preliminary hearing?
Yes.
Your knowledge of Mr. Kalin's credibility, ma'am, is that based on your interaction with him?
Mostly, yes.
Okay. How often do you see him currently?
Currently, never. I mean, here, but never.
Okay. You ran into him here in court, did you?
Yes.
All right. Other than
I've
that,
seen him out a couple of times, but we don't really talk.
and how long did you date him for?
I would say till the beginning of July. So from March, well, actually April till July.
Of 94?
Yes.
And after July, did you stop dating him?
Yes.
And how often did you see him after you stopped dating him?
We would talk on the phone mostly, but not very often. It depends. Sometimes once a week, sometimes a couple times.
When was the last time you spoke to him on the phone?
Last time I talked to him briefly the other day.
About your court appearance?
A little bit. No, not really. I just said I was just wishing him luck, kind of.
And when was the last time before that?
Oh, I don't know, a while ago, a couple weeks ago, maybe.
Okay. And prior to that?
I don't know. I really don't know. I'm just guessing. Infrequently.
Okay. Would you consider him one of your closest friends?
A close friend, yes.
Okay. And you see him how many times? Well, since you stopped dating him in July, what was the nature of your contact? Telephone or in person?
Since July, mostly telephone. But I've been told not to. It's better that I don't talk to him.
Okay. So you've stayed away from him, have you?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have any financial interest in this case, the outcome of this particular case?
Any financial interest in the outcome? Absolutely not.
Right. No matter what happens with this case, you're going to pursue your lawsuit as you see fit, or your lawyer sees fit?
Yes,
It's two separate things.
correct.
Okay. May I have a moment, Your Honor?
Certainly.
Okay, you've indicated to Mr. Cochran that many of your time estimates are approximate. You recall that?
Yes.
Was there one particular time that night when you absolutely determined what time it was during your conversations with Mr. Kalin?
Yes.
And when was that?
10:30.
And that was how long before he told you about the bang?
About 10 minutes before.
And you're certain of that time?
Yes.
And why is that?
Just because of how much longer we talked.
Okay. And when you found out it was 10:30, you specifically, were you specifically, hold it, I'm not done. I'm going to fix it.
It was.
I'm going to make it better. I'm trying. When you just indicated to us you were certain of the time of 10:30, did you pay some specific attention at that point to what time it was?
Well, I was aware of it.
Okay. Do you direct your attention to what time it was at that point?
At 10:30?
Yes.
Yes.
And what did you do to determine what time it was?
I asked Cato what time it was.
Okay. So other than that time of 10:30 and the 10 minutes after that you've just indicated to us, are you certain of any of the other times you've mentioned? Or are those approximate?
Well, I'm certain of the 11:05.
Okay.
I mean, I
Anything
know
else?
it was after. Yeah, I'd say I'm certain
What are you certain of?
of the times.
Yes, which you indicated to Mr. Cochran that you were sometimes were approximate. Okay. Now
Well,
you've
I would say approximate within a minute. I mean, I'm not, dead on the times, but I'm saying approximate within a minute or two.
So when you say 11:05,
Well, I know that because he said 10 minutes. And then, I was waiting 10 minutes for him to call back, whether I should actually get concerned or not.
and it was more than 10 minutes, though, wasn't it? Wasn't
It
that your
was more than
testimony?
10 minutes.
Pardon?
It was more than 10 minutes.
It was how long?
About 15.
Okay. So after the point of 11:05, are you certain of the times then? For example, how long you were talking to him before he left the phone again? Or is that an approximation?
Well, it's an approximation.
Okay. You indicated that you were planning to get together that night, but you didn't.
Right.
Why not?
Because the noise happened, or the bang happened.
And was that your decision or his?
Well, if it was both of ours, because that means that if I would have to go over there and then we'd go out, and I'd say it was mostly his because he didn't want to leave
Because
he thought he should.
Sustain. Mr. Cochran?
Was someone in this courtroom who told you not to see Mr. Cato Kalin?
Yes. Well, it was not don't see him, but we probably should not talk to him.
All right, that was some advice that you received.
Yes.
It is a privilege again, Paul Silverman.
That's fine.
Call for any
I'm not-
communications.
Not going any further. I just asked someone in the courtroom. So now we know who it is.
Well, that's not true though, but
did I tell you that as well?
yes, you did.
Because you don't discuss your testimony with Mr. Kalin?
Right.
That's not privileged.
All right, anything else?
Nothing further.
Anything else? All right, Ms. Farrar, you're excused as a witness. Thank you very much. All right, we'll take a 15-minute recess, and Ms. Clark, can you have your next witness available? All right, ladies and gentlemen, please remember my admonitions to you. Don't discuss the case amongst yourselves. Don't form any opinions. Do not allow yourself to be communicated with regarding the case. Do not conduct any deliberations until the matter has been submitted to you. We'll take a 15-minute recess, and then we'll start with the next witness. All right, 15. All right. All right, the people may call their next witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. The people call Mr. Alan Park.
All right, Mr. Park, would you step forward, please? Step over here next to the court reporter, please. Face the clerk.
Raise your right hand, please. You do solemnly swear that the testimony you may give in the trial and opinion before this court should be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? I do. Please have a seat for witness stand and state and spell your first and last name for the record.
I want you to lean back, Mr. Park, and just pull the microphone close to you.
Okay.
Person.
ALLANPARK.
Ms. Clark.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good Good morning, Mr. Park.
Good morning.
Sir, as of June the 12th, can you tell us where you were employed?
I was employed for Town and Country Limousine.
Let me push that microphone a little closer. As of June the 12th, 1994, you were employed where?
For Town and Country Limousine.
As what, sir?
As a limousine driver.
And how long, as of June the 12th, had you been working there?
It was about 2.5, 3 months.
Who was the owner of that limousine company, sir?
Dale St. John.
Was he also a neighbor of yours?
Yes, he was.
How close did he live to you?
Just across the street.
On the date of June the 12th, 1994, did you have an order for a pickup on that date for the evening to go to the airport?
Yes, I did.
What was your order?
My order was to pick up Mr. Simpson at 360 Rockingham.
At what time?
10:45.
10:45?
Yes.
And were you made aware of what flight you had to get him to?
Not a flight number, but just to get him to LAX for an 11:45 flight out from American Airlines.
And were you aware of where that flight was going to?
I believe Chicago.
Had you ever driven Mr. Simpson to the airport before?
No, I haven't.
Or had you ever driven Mr. Simpson anywhere before?
No.
Now, as of June the 12th, 1994, had you ever been to the Brentwood area?
No.
Can you tell us, sir, at what time you left to pick up Mr. Simpson to take him to the airport on June the 12th?
What time I left my place?
Yes.
It was about 9:45.
And the area was not your address at that time, but the general area you were leaving from?
Torrance.
So you left at 9:45?
Yes.
Were you anticipating it would take you an hour to get to Brentwood from there?
I had no idea how long it would take. I knew it would be somewhere around there.
Now, were you scheduling yourself to arrive exactly at 10:45?
No, I wasn't.
What time were you scheduled to actually arrive there?
Well, they like us to be there 10 minutes early.
So what time were you trying to arrive at the defendant's house in Brentwood?
10:35.
Now, when you were driving to the defendant's house, what kind of car, what kind of limousine were you driving?
It was a stretch.
A stretch limousine?
Yes.
And what does that mean?
It means it's long.
Longer than what?
Longer than a normal sedan. I don't know the exact length of it. I think it was only fit for 4 to 6 passengers. So it's not actually, super long, but it's longer than a normal sedan.
Had you ever driven a stretch limousine before?
Yes, I have.
Did you, the first time you ever drove it, did you have to have any practice or any instruction in how to maneuver it?
I never had any instructions, no.
Did you practice any with it?
Well, before I worked for him, I drove for another person for a few months, so I had practice.
When you say him, you mean Dale St. John?
Yes.
Before you worked for Dale St. John at Town and Country Limousine, you worked for another limousine service?
Yes.
And at that prior limousine service, how long did you work there?
It was about the same, 2.5, 3 months.
Did you drive stretch limousines at that earlier employment?
It was just one. It was one private owner. I just drove him around, nobody else.
Now, is there any difference in driving a stretch limousine than it is driving a regular, say, car of the size of a Lincoln Continental?
Yes.
And how is it different?
Just you need to make your turns a lot wider and drive a little bit slower. There's people in the back.
Why do you drive a little slower when there's people in back?
Well, I don't want them flying from side to side.
All right. So while you were driving, what route did you take to Mr. Simpson's house?
I took the 405 freeway north to Sunset, made a left off of Sunset going west to Rockingham. I made a right and headed up Rockingham to the residence.
During your drive to the residence, sir, is that car, that limo that you were driving that night, that stretch limo, is it equipped with a cell phone?
Yes, it is.
And is it the kind of phone that is fixed in the car, or can you remove it and take it around with you?
It's fixed in the car.
Did you receive any phone calls during your trip to Rockingham?
From what I remember, I received one from Dale.
I'm sorry, Dale St. John?
Yes.
That was your boss?
Yes.
He called you in the car while you were en route to Rockingham?
Yes.
All right. Do you recall what time it was when you drove, when you indicated to us just now you turned right up onto Rockingham and drove up Rockingham? Do you recall what time it was when you got to the location on Rockingham where the defendant's house was?
It had to have been around 9:22, 9:23.
9:22?
No, excuse me, 10:22, 10:23. I'm sorry.
Now, how was it that you knew what the address was? Is that correct?
Yes.
360 North Rockingham?
Yes.
How were you able to locate which house on Rockingham was the defendant's as you drove up Rockingham?
There was addresses painted on the curb.
All right. You see the photograph that's being shown to you as People 62A, sir?
Yes, I do.
Can you indicate to us, well, strike that. Did you locate the address on the curb that belonged to the defendant, 360, as you drove up Rockingham in that stretch limo?
Yes.
And do you see the location that you noticed the address in painted on the curb in this photograph?
Yes, I do.
I'm going to ask you to direct the arrow to the address you saw on the curb on June the 12th. How about a different color? Red? Tell the arrow where to go, Mr. Park.
Go down behind the Bronco. Back up a little bit. Up. There you go, right there.
All right. Could you put a circle around that, John? All right. So you were able to see the address on the curb there?
Yes.
So at the time that you were looking at that location, the address on the curb, did you see a car parked in that location?
No, I didn't.
You see that white Bronco in this photograph, sir?
Yes.
Was that white Bronco there at the time you drove by at about 10:22?
I didn't see it.
And you were looking at that curb, were you not?
Yes.
When you saw the address on the curb, what happened next? What did you do?
I was driving a little bit quick, so by the time I saw it, I noticed that was the house, and I should turn around. As I got a little bit farther, I noticed another side street, Ashford.
was that side street past the location of the curb where you saw the address?
It's about another 40, 50 yards.
People's Exhibit number 63.
Do you recognize the location that you see in this photograph, sir?
Yes, I do.
All right. Can you tell us, first of all, which street it is that comes actually down to the left-hand corner of the screen as you face it?
That's Ashford.
Can you point, I'll tell you what,
The
point
left-
tell the arrow. Where's Ashford? Tell the arrow where to go.
Go down to the left. That's Ashford there.
All right. Okay. Mark that. And the previous photograph, Your Honor, to be marked as
62A1.
62A1, thank you. And is that the street that you indicated was the side street that you saw?
Yes.
And when you got to that side street, what did you do?
I turned right and drove down the street a little ways and made a U-turn and came back and parked on the opposite side of Mr. Simpson's house, almost parallel to the gate with my front window.
Almost parallel to the Ashford gate?
Almost, yeah.
Okay. Can you, well, there happens to be a car parked on the north curb of Ashford in this photograph. Do you see it?
Yes.
Where in relation to where that car is in that photograph did you park?
Same spot.
Okay. Could we please mark that as well? Why don't we circle that car? No.
Yeah.
No.
You,
Not there. Right, direct the arrow, Mr. Park.
to the black Jeep over in the corner, it looks like. Down. There you go.
Okay, can we circle that? There we go. Thanks, John. Can this be marked as People 63E?
So marked.
Thank you. All right, you parked that stretch limo there,
Yes.
and then what did you do?
I got out of the car and walked towards the back and had a cigarette. And when I was done, I got back in the car and listened to the radio a little bit.
Hold on. This is Robertson.
Okay. What time was it when you parked on Ashford?
When I parked on Ashford,
Yes.
it was 10:25.
All right. And was it what direction was the stretch limo parked in?
It would have been facing west.
Would it have been facing Rockingham,
Yes.
the street, Rockingham?
Yes.
If you wouldn't mind, sir, would you step down, please?
And Ms. Clark, which board is this?
I'm sorry, Your Honor, it's People 66. Would you mind using the pointer, if you would? There's one right by you over there on the witness stand. Use the bigger one if you want. And please show us the route that you took when you first arrived at the location in Brentwood and you drove up Rockingham. Will you please show the jury the direction that you drove and how you arrived at the parked location you've indicated to us on People 63E?
Okay, I came up Rockingham, saw the address right about here. Just going a little bit quick.
Okay, wait a minute. For the record, the witness saw the address right about here. That would be just above the upper black line defining the Rockingham driveway.
I then proceeded up to Ashford, made a right on Ashford, was looking for a good place to turn around at, which would have been down around here. There was another driveway.
For the record, the witness gestured to an area off the board, which would be a continuation of Ashford Street.
Made my U-turn and came back down and parked just about here.
And for the record, the witness, when he said park just about here, indicates a location that's slightly to the west of the Ashford gate of Mr. Simpson's residence.
On the north side of the street.
Yes.
I'll tell you what, we're going to have you trace it on the Elmo as well. Go ahead, take a seat.
One, please. Name over, please.
All right, Mr. Park, I'm going to take the board down now, and I'm going to ask you to direct the arrow to trace the route that you just done for us. Okay, why don't you direct the cross to trace that route so we can preserve this, starting at the bottom. Tell it.
Okay, I followed Rockingham straight up, saw the address on the north side of the curb there.
Okay, can we mark that location? Direct the cross to the location where you saw the address.
It should be the northeast,
Direct the arrow.
right there.
Can we put an X? No. Well, no, that's fine. Okay. Continue.
I continued up all the way to Ashford, made a right-hand turn, went down the street, past the driveway. It would have been off the screen, but I made a U-turn just past that. A little farther down, just past the driveway, I parked on the north side of the street, right about there.
All right. We can put the arrow going. which way was your car facing?
The other way, it was facing west.
All right. About there?
Yes.
All right. We could mark this as 66B.
All right, 66B.
Thank you, Ellen. All right, and when you got to the location where the arrow has stopped on Ashford Street, sir, what time was it?
It was 10:25.
And how do you know that?
I looked at my watch, and there's also a clock on the radio.
In the car?
Yes.
And was the clock in the car the same time as your watch?
Yes, give or take a minute or so.
All right, and what happened next after you parked? What did you do?
I got outside. I walked towards the back of the car, had a cigarette, got back inside the car, listened to the radio for a few minutes, and then just at about 10:39, I proceeded to drive up to the driveway.
So you smoked a cigarette, listened to the radio, and then got back inside?
Yes.
After you got back inside, did you look at the clock again?
Yes, I did. I wanted to make sure that I was right on my 10 minutes early.
Okay. And you got back into the car at what time?
It was around 10:39.
10:39?
Yes,
And how do you know that?
from looking at the clocks.
What did you do next?
I started the car and drove back onto Rockingham, made a left, and drove up to the Rockingham gate with my driver's side window looking down the Rockingham driveway. It just didn't look too easy to get into, so I backed straight back up and made a left onto back onto Ashford and pulled up to the Ashford gate.
All right, I'm going to back up for a second and show you some photographs.
Equals 63. Two, please.
All right, you indicated that you drove down Ashford, and which way did you turn on Rockingham?
I made a left
And for what purpose did you do that?
to go back to the Rockingham gate.
Why did you want to go back to the Rockingham gate?
I don't know,
Why did you want to look in the Rockingham gate?
because I wanted to drive into it.
Now, was the Rockingham gate open or closed?
It was closed.
So showing this photograph, sir, you indicated earlier that you were in the position of that dark colored Jeep on the north side of Ashford.
Yes,
Which way you turned on? Did you turn on Rockingham?
left.
Okay. This next photograph has been shown to council, be People's 146.
All right, People's 146.
And what street is depicted in this photograph, sir?
Oh, that looks like Rockingham.
Okay. And is that the location you drove down to get to the Rockingham gate?
Yes.
People 62A.
And what location is shown there?
The Rockingham gate.
Who's next in order for this following photograph, Your Honor? People's 147 has been shown to counsel.
147.
And what location is shown in this photograph, sir?
That is also the Rockingham gate.
Now, was that gate open or closed when you saw it?
It was closed.
When you looked into were you able to look through the gate, through the bars?
Yes.
When you pulled up to that location, sir, you were driving that stretch limo, correct?
Yes.
You pulled so that you could look into the gate. You had the side window. Is that right?
Yes.
Were you able to see out the side window?
Yes, it was.
Where, with respect to the gate, did you pull to locate your side window close to the gate?
I was out in the street.
Mm-hmm.
I never pulled up to the gate at all.
In other words, you did not pull face into the gate?
No, I didn't.
How did you pull up? What position did you pull up to in next to the gate?
Would have been my driver's side window. I had to look out the left to look down the driveway.
Okay, and as you pulled down Rockingham, this time going southbound on Rockingham, and looked into the Rockingham gate, did you see any car, white Bronco, parked to the left of the gate as you faced it?
No, I didn't.
And was that location in your field of view at the time you looked into the Rockingham gate?
Yes.
What were you trying to do when you looked through? What were you trying to determine when you looked through the Rockingham gate to your left?
I was just looking at the driveway and seeing how easy it would have been to pull into the driveway, and if I can exit out onto Ashford. Just the way the cars were parked and where the garage was, it didn't look, very easy to make that turn.
Okay.
So I decided to back up.
So did you make a U-turn or did you back up?
No, I backed straight up.
You put it in reverse.
Yes.
And when you put it in reverse, did you have to look behind you?
Of course. Yes.
Okay. And do you remember what shoulder you looked over to do that?
I would have looked over my right.
Okay. When you looked over your right shoulder, did you see anything behind you?
No.
And you backed up to where?
I backed up to the Ashford Street.
Okay. And where did you go then?
Made another left onto Ashford and pulled up to the front gate.
Okay. Let's go back to 66.
I had no time to pick you up anything on the way home because I came to a decision on the way home, just so you know. It's not a good decision, but it's a decision. So every time I leave to take her to work, I stress out. I'm like, oh God, they're doing a sidebar right now and everybody's just looking at their screen. Oh God, my sound went off. Oh no, the cat's unplugged something. I'm like driving her to work like, oh God, oh no, OJ, oh no, OJ. So I've decided that, you know what? When I drive her to work, something might happen. My sound might go out. They might have a sidebar. The cats might turn my computer off. Who knows? And I'm not going to stress about it every single day because there's a chance it won't happen. And if it does happen, you guys will understand that I'm not here and I'll fix it as soon as I get back. And then I'm not going to stress about it no more when I'm driving her to work because it's just stupid to stress about something you cannot control and you cannot fix and you cannot do anything about. And who knows if it's even ever going to happen, right? It might never happen. So why would I stress every day about that? I bet. I saw comments. So I figured there was a sidebar. But I'm only gone for a few minutes. I mean, my streams are hours long, so a few minutes. She can drive, but she won't drive. She's scared of getting in a car accident. She's not like me. because when I was 16, you couldn't get me in a car fast enough. I had my Ford Mustang and I loved driving, and I love driving still. I could drive all day, all night and just be happy. She hates cars, hates them. She hates driving. She hates riding in a car. She just doesn't like it. She never liked it. No, she never got into a like a huge car accident that traumatized her. I mean, I taught I taught more than that. I taught a bunch of teenagers how to drive cars, and they hit things, they hit curbs and guardrails and things like that. So she's been in a car where we were hit from behind. She was fine. She didn't get hurt, So there's nothing that traumatized her. And I don't know why. I don't know where she got it from. And I'm disappointed in her. No, I'm not. She just doesn't like cars. And yeah, she's not alone. She's a lot of kids do not want to drive. There. I made her get her license. I drug her there. I made her, and it was right in the middle of COVID. And guess, this was her driving test. I'm wrong. That's the other kid. I got the wrong kid. Sorry, that's not true. I'm trying to think. She was born in 2000. So yeah, by 2020, she had her driver's license. Anthony's driving test was easy. Anthony, the guy wasn't allowed in the car with Anthony. And he got his driving test because of COVID. It was pandemic. So what happened was I was the licensed driver in the car beside my son. And the guy told me, he says, "Mom, you say one word to him while you're in this car and I'm going to fail him. You may not talk to him. You can sit there, but you may not. If you talk to him, he fails." And he said to my son, he said, "Okay, I want you to go to that parking lot across the street, pull into a driving spot. Then I want you to pull out and come back to me. And then we'll do your 3-point turn." And that's what he did. With him, not allowed to say one word. We drove her. That was the hardest day of my entire life. That was such a hardship on me because it was such a big deal that he gets his driver's license. And I'm right beside him and I see him messing up and I'm not allowed to say anything. I'm not even allowed to whisper, which I did. I absolutely spoke to him the whole time. No, yeah, my lips were gosh, but I'm like, no, turn right, sit down. I do. We absolutely know what you're talking about. We do. We haven't lived it, so we don't know it as you do. But those words make sense to us. Yeah. I mean, I drove way before I had a driver's license. You couldn't stop me from driving cars. You couldn't stop me. I loved it. I remember the first time I hit 90 miles per hour. I was 14 years old and I was driving to Hershey Park on the highway in a Gremlin. I remember that day so well, man. I had such a good day. I met Tom Nisley. That's who I went with. And he won me this great, big, gigantic unicorn stuffed animal that day. He was 16. And he thought that I was 15. And at the end of the day, when he found out that I was 14, I never saw him again. I don't care. I got my unicorn. Oh, what a great day. It was a great day. Yeah. All right. That's awesome to hear, Donald. All right. Well, I got to get back to it's 8:30. Courts opened 24 minutes ago. I need content. I want to finish OJ. The stream's been going on for 6 minutes. No, I don't think of the Nestle's. Guys, oh, wait. I'm sorry. I was in the middle of a story. I'm sorry. Hold on. Jude, thank you so much. And that is badass. 1968 Cutlass, please. I would ride with you anytime. Yes, I would. I would date you because of your car. Yes, I've done that before. Oh, those cars. Anyway. Thank you so much for coming out to OJ today. I'm trying to change up OJ like you saw. New thumbnails, new descriptions, blah, 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 to get a bigger group of people in here. It's not working, but I only been doing it for 3 days, so give me time. All right? Yep. Yep. We do the same thing. Ish. We do almost the same thing. We don't do that. We don't do that. Whoa. Oh, my kids and my nephews and nieces, they would keep that pee on for as long as they could. Like they would have their license for 8 years and stuff, their pee on there. So that people think that they're a student driver. They can do whatever they want for a student driver. All right. I gotta stop now. I do. I have big plans for today. I have off and I have big plans for court vibes. I'm gonna work on big things for court vibes. You'll see. You'll see when I'm done. Thanks for coming out today. Appreciate it. I will see you all really, really, really soon. Not today, though. I'm not live streaming today. Bye.